Hello and welcome to another episode of Respecting Your Elders podcast. I'm recording in Los Angeles, California, and today my guest all the way from Las Vegas, Nevada is a longtime friend, Todd Campbell.
It's me. Hello.
Thanks for being on the show.
Thanks for having me on the show.
And for those that are listening in the future, which will be everyone, we are in the middle of the coronavirus saga.
Yeah.
It's March 21st here, so I don't know what's going to happen, obviously, but California and New York just sort of shut everything down that's non-essential the other day. What's happening in Las Vegas?
Kind of the same. We got no, from what I understand, we can go to grocery stores like Walgreens, CVS, gas stations, and that's it. I have not left my house, neither has my wife, since, I don't know, probably a week. We're both just kind of like pretty happy at home and like stocked up on stuff, and there's plenty of little projects to do and like work from home type stuff to do. So why risk one of us? It really like if I get sick, then it creates a whole thing of I don't want to get her sick, and then we're gonna have to Lysol wipe everything all day, and that sucks. So we're just trying to avoid that stress.
Yeah, that's pretty much how it's been here too. We've pretty much been staying in the apartment, other than I think my fiance went to the grocery store once, and we went for a walk. We went for a hike through Griffith Park, but
That's nice.
yeah, we're just so fortunate. Like, so many people in the world are suffering with either being sick or worrying about loved ones that are sick or losing their job or fear of losing their job.
I know. It's I feel very lucky. It's just kind of dumb luck. It's just at least where like my wife and I are kind of stationed in life, we can do a lot from home, like work wise, or we happened in Vegas. Property's cheap, so like we rent a house. It's not that expensive, but it's big. It's like 5 bedrooms, 2 stories. So there's plenty of room. I can be monkeying with stuff in the garage, and she could be like, she does taxidermy and some other hobbies and stuff. So she could be doing that in another room, and then we meet back up and watch a movie. So really, as long as we don't lose internet or water or electricity, we're kind of good to go for a while. Plus, Amazon delivers everything.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
I mean, it's the reason.
They stopped for a couple days, but they're back.
Yeah, it looks like they're back. Yeah.
They're adding 100,000 jobs or something.
Right. That's cool. Yeah. Just, yeah. So I don't know. It's, kind of lucky in that sense, but it's a weird deal. My dad said he's never even seen anything close to like this. And he's way older than me, been through quite a lot of stuff. And he's like, yeah, this is completely new in every sense,
Yeah.
So,
I mean, there's 9/11, the Vietnam War,
right,
World War II.
Yeah, it's and all the civil rights stuff and all the everything, and like in the '60s and just crazy things he's experienced, and he's like, yeah, but this is weird, like, which meant a lot to me for him to be like, I don't even know what to do, it's like super weird. So
yeah, it feels like we're in a sci-fi movie.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, but for now, it's been fun. Just kind of, it's like a forced vacation,
Yeah, I mean, it's hard to reconcile. Like, I'm just trying to remember to stay grateful for how fortunate I am, because you're in your own little bubble. But then in other ways, I'm feeling more connected because I'm talking to. My friends more, my family more, and just feel like I almost feel less isolated than I might have. Just sort of a feeling like we're all in this together, and trying to like be creative about ways that I can be of service or ways that I can help, because like you, my life hasn't honestly changed too much from this so far. It feels, you almost want to feel like ashamed that you're not going through more, but
Right.
The best thing I feel like I can do is just stay inside so that I don't get elderly people sick.
Right.
Because I don't have much of a fear of getting it and dying myself.
Right.
And then, but yeah, like I started learning guitar on YouTube.
Yeah, that's on my list. I have a guitar that I have not learned how to play yet.
I'll send you this link. It's like 10 YouTube videos. It's been great for me. I mean, there's a million.
Cool.
There's a million, but I like the one that I'm using. So far, I've learned that song by Buffalo Springfield. Everybody look what's going down. Because that's like 2 chords. And then Born in the USA. Three Little Birds, Bob Marley.
Right.
And yesterday I learned Wild Thing.
Well, so you're ready to party.
Oh, I'm so ready to party.
Yeah, you're ready to just rock out.
I'm taking bookings from online Zoom parties.
Oh yeah, that's
online good. Fireside campfires.
Yeah.
I'm volunteering to tell ghost stories.
That's good. Do you have a flashlight?
Yes.
Okay, good. Yeah.
Oh yeah, if you want to play German Spotlight online.
Right. That's important. Yeah. Yeah. It's been a lot of like video games too.
Oh yeah.
It's been kind of like getting back into that, and I used to be so into video games, and now it's hard to like get my teeth into one. You know?
Oh really?
Like get obsessed again.
Yeah.
And I kind of want to get, because this is a perfect time to get like hopelessly obsessed with a video game.
Yeah.
Like that would be great. Just kill 6 days, just pajamas and video game.
It seems like there's a lot of NBA players that really have the pulse of the newest and latest, the best video games. They all have Twitch accounts.
Right.
And
there's Twitch.
And you could have a Twitch account.
I totally could.
You should.
I have a Twitch account. I don't have one, but I should.
Yeah.
I'm juggling, because I got 2 sites that I keep updated, and those are. I'm glad I shot content ahead of time, like before this.
Yeah.
Just dumb luck. I normally am not that preloaded with video content, but I had been planning on making a mainstream movie, and I was like saving up money for that. And I thought, well, if I'm going to do that, I need to take some time off of my job. And so I was stacking, like getting months ahead.
Right.
When all this happened. And I might still make the mainstream movie. I don't know. But the good news is my sites are good to go, updated. And then I have like tube sites I got to update and stuff like that. But that's kind of the fun part.
Yeah, I'm focusing on all this different stuff that I can do too, like this podcast. I was thinking, not to double back to being of service, but I was thinking about, because I always intended at some point to go into homes for the elderly and interview people there for this podcast. It's called Respecting Your Elders, you know? So I'm looking into if I can somehow do a Zoom with any elderly people. And then I thought, if there was a way to get other people to talk to the elderly, that would be a really cool way to connect people that are feeling alone right now.
Oh yeah, that's smart. Good.
Fortnite? Like I think 2 Christmases ago, my future brother-in-law brought over his game system, and my future in-laws and I were playing Fortnite. I got addicted to that. I don't know if you've played that.
I haven't tried it. I've been playing Fallout on my computer. I like Fallout. It's weird playing it now.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's like, well, wait, what if we do go post-apocalyptic world? You know?
Yeah.
And I'm also in this like weird prepper mode, like in real life, like getting just ordering everything I can off Amazon, stocking up, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So then playing Fallout is kind of like feeds it in a weird way, but it's still fun. I don't know.
Right, I get that, but like you don't want to play Fallout for too long and then go outside and interact with your neighbors because you might sort of default to that survival.
Yeah, it's survivable. Like, this person has stuff I need. Maybe I should. Yeah.
I remember playing Grand Theft Auto 20 years ago, and for so long, and then going outside in my car and feeling like,
oh yeah,
on alert, like scared, like the car next to me, the guy was gonna jump out and pull me out of my car, or like I was gonna have to shoot someone.
Yeah, or like getting to a red light and then being like, oh no, I have to stop. I really have to stop here.
Yeah,
this is important, as opposed to Grand Theft Auto mode.
I mean, I still went Renegade style and solved some crimes,
Oh, okay, yeah.
But I was doing that already.
Yeah. Did you jump into a taxi and just start doing taxi missions?
Yeah, I started doing taxi missions, and I was starting to annoy people because I kept changing the radio station over and over and over.
Yeah. Over and over. Yeah. It was only like 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That got old. So, all right. So, okay. So So ordinarily on the podcast, I've started like just asking the guests like, "Oh, where were you born? Where are you from?" And I realized after a while that like a lot of people don't really want to talk about their childhood. I'll be like, "Oh, so what was cool about having a sister?" And they're like, I can't think of anything.
I watched the beginning of Chris Dugan's.
Oh yeah,
because I excited because Dugan was on it, and I was like, "Oh shit!" And I didn't know he was born in Ann Arbor.
I know.
I don't know why.
I know.
It never came up. I was also born in Michigan.
Oh wow!
So I was like, weird. And I also moved away when I was like really, really young. But then I moved back later. But I mean, I was just like, oh, I didn't know that about Dugan. But yeah.
Yeah, our mutual friend Barrett said he listened, and he was like, I learned all this stuff about Chris Dugan that I never knew.
Yeah. He's a fascinating human, Chris Dugan.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
I listened back to it recently also, and I thought it was funny. He brought up a topic of flow. And then I said, oh yeah, there's this book called Flow by this author, Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi, and he was like, actually, Flow was started by Nihai Csikszentmihalyi, and then listening back, I realized it's the same person.
It's the same person?
Yeah. I just pronounced it completely wrong, and he pronounced it correctly.
Right.
We were just talking about the exact same person.
Yeah.
That was just weird.
That is weird. Yeah.
But anyway, okay, but I don't think I'll have to worry about falling into that trap with you. So, where were you from?
So I was born in Midland, Michigan, which is, no one's really heard of Midland. It's where Dow Chemical's based.
Is that, and that's up north or down south? It's
on the hand. It's in the middle. Like,
I figured.
Literally.
I figured.
Midland. It's right by Flint, Michigan, which people have heard of Flint.
Yeah.
And so Flint was where there were a lot of auto manufacturing plants, and then Midland was like chemical plants.
Okay.
And my dad worked for chemical.
Sorry, you cut out.
So that's where.
Oh, you're cutting in and out. You're cutting in and out.
I'm cutting in and out. Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Cool. I'm back. So my dad worked for Dow Chemical, and he. So we had to live there because that's where the home base was. And then we moved to Texas for a little bit. So I was in Texas until I was like 5, and then back to Michigan. And then had a lot of fun, basically playing in the woods. That's my memories of Michigan, being a kid, 5 to 10 years old. Lots playing in the woods. I had 1 or 2 friends the whole time, but you're a kid, so you don't think of popularity or any of that stuff. You just kind of I have someone to play in the woods with, right back to it, Then we moved to Washington D.C. area.
Do you remember what you played? What games you played?
We would just play pretend to be ninjas and stuff.
Yeah.
A lot of that.
Mm-hmm.
And then like Army game, like pretending to be Army guys, or
Yeah.
that was pretty much.
I think 2 years younger than you. I vaguely remember playing Thundercats, G.I. Joe,
Yeah.
Miami Vice.
Oh yeah, that would have been fun to pretend to be Miami Vice, and we never did that. That's interesting. But
I was never Don Johnson. I was always Tubbs.
Really?
But my friend's younger brother was the bad guy, so. And I was cool with being Tubbs.
Right. Yeah, Tubbs is cool.
Yeah.
Tubbs is cool. Yeah. Yeah.
And I was thinking too, Michael Moore, I think his like first successful documentary was about Michigan, took place in Michigan.
Yeah.
Maybe in the 80s?
Flint. I think the 80s, he did the, because when all the auto plants shut down in Flint, it was like a big, weird deal that hasn't, as far as I know, I haven't been back since I was a kid, but as far as I know, Flint really hasn't recovered. It's just kind of like not a ghost town, but it should be at this point.
Their water situation is so screwed up.
Yeah, now they don't have water, and it's just weird that no one knows or cares. Midland's probably good to go because Dow Chemical's still there, kicking butt. I mean, they make a lot of chemicals. Mm-hmm. So, also Midland is the only place in the world that has a tridge, which is think of like a bridge. It's like it connects two bodies. A tridge connects three. Like that.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Like a flux capacitor.
Like, similar to a flux capacitor, it connects three bodies of land over water. So you meet in the middle. It's a walking bridge. You wouldn't want to drive.
Oh, it's a walking bridge, not a driving bridge?
No, yeah, it's a walking bridge. So you walk, and then if you're in the middle of the tridge, you're at the intersection of two rivers forming into one. You're like standing over it.
Yeah.
There's a famous architect, if you're like, I guess only architects would care, but like some architect was from Midland, Michigan. His last name was Dow also. Probably related to the Dow Chemical guy. That's kind of Midland for you. Yeah.
I learned recently that I think if you're in Detroit, Canada, a part of Canada is actually south of you.
Oh.
And I also learned that, it's really easy to accidentally get onto an on-ramp and end up at the border of Canada. Mm-hmm. And you can't just turn around. Like, you have to go through customs and do everything.
I've heard on the West Coast, someone was telling me, when we were at Whistler together, someone was telling me like a teenager went jogging somewhere near Vancouver, I guess south of Vancouver, and crossed the border to America on the beach.
Oh, and
maybe you heard the same story.
You told me.
Yeah. But it's insane. She didn't get home for like a month or something because she kept getting detained and like moved from here to there and here. And she didn't have any ID because she was just jogging. It's weird.
Yeah, she got detained just walking from Canada to America on the beach.
And it seems like it's just weird to me, like logically, because Canada seems just basically like America, Canada, like, we're different, but not, I mean, do we really need a hard line there? I don't know. Strange.
I wonder if just the bureaucracy, like if it was a bunch of people that didn't want to get in trouble for doing the wrong thing, or...
Right. I don't know.
They get to log extra hours of work or something.
Right.
You get a bonus for every
right.
person you detain.
For every, like I got 3 today. I'm going to hit my quota.
Yeah.
Detaining. Kinds of detaining. Yeah. Yeah. But that was a fun trip to Canada.
Yeah, that was so cool. Fun. That was so fun.
Yeah.
Whistler is, I think, my favorite place I've ever snowboarded.
Oh, definitely. Yeah. Yeah. Definitely. I got so gung-ho about snowboarding because I hadn't been for years. So I bought all the gear again and got super excited. And I haven't been since the trip. Like,
Well, we'll have to go
we got to
next
go
winter.
again next winter. Yeah, definitely. There's in Vegas, you can drive like an hour, I think, and snowboard. Like, there's a mountain, Mount Charleston.
Yeah.
It's like right there, and I have some friends that do that. I just never picked a day.
Well, so we have Big Bear here, which I went to for the first time a couple years ago,
Okay.
and it was cool, but the runs are pretty short. I mean, it's still better
Right.
than anything around Washington D.C. But
Right.
and then
Yeah.
I saw the traffic coming up to Big Bear. I was going
Right.
home, I think, on a Sunday, and there was so many cars on this basically one lane road going either direction. Just
Yeah.
the possibility that I could ever get stuck in that made me never want to go there again.
Right.
But Lake Tahoe isn't that far, and
Yeah, I haven't done that either. I haven't done
and
Tahoe.
Mammoth, Mammoth too.
Yeah.
When my fiance and I drove around California, we actually went to Yosemite Park,
Yeah.
and we stayed at Mammoth, the ski lodge, but it wasn't ski season, so it was like no one was there. It was really great.
Yeah. That does sound cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, so you moved from Michigan to DC.
Yeah. And then, which was way different because my like classmates, I was like in fourth grade, I think, end of fourth grade when I moved, and my classmates were like went from like Michigan. Everybody was like kind of same, and then in DC it was like a third of my classmates were like Muslim, and then like the majority of my classmates were from some Asian country, and just a big mix. And everybody spoke all these different languages. It was super cool. It was like I just immediately started learning all kinds of shit about different walks of life and stuff. And it was that was cool. It was way different.
Was this in McLean?
This is McLean, yeah.
Okay. And what school did you go to?
I went to elementary school. I can't remember, but then Cooper Middle School.
Okay.
I remember that, and then Langley High School after that. And Langley's like right by the CIA, Langley. And then they're all public schools, but they're like pretty good schools, I guess. And then but yeah, big mix of just different kids from different things. Super cool. Mm-hmm. And the Desert Storm War started like a little bit after I moved there.
Yeah.
And we
was that a coincidence, or you think there's a connection?
I didn't start it. I didn't. It wasn't me. But it really, like, yeah.
You seem awfully defensive about it.
I didn't. I did not start that war. Yeah. Yeah. Don't ask me to end it because I didn't start it. No one asked me to end it.
Why is your name Todd Saddam Hussein Campbell?
It's not. Yeah, I don't go by the name anymore.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Because that's how you introduce myself, and you kept saying, make sure you include the Saddam Hussein part when you speak to my name.
But I changed since we decided to have that conversation. I've changed.
Okay.
Altered that. But yeah, some of my classmates were from Iraq, and some were from Kuwait.
Really?
And then yeah, like not like a lot, but like we had a few from each. And
I'm trying to think if I've even ever met anyone from Iraq.
It was my buddy Meha Shami. Everybody called her Maha because that's how it was spelled, but that's not how you pronounce it. It was Meha. And she would say, she just stopped correcting people eventually and just Maha. Okay, call me Maha Shami, but it's Meha Shami. So she was from Iraq, and she would get super sad because all the other kids had these, like, remember like the T-shirts that had like a Scud missile, like the Iraqi missile, and then like an American Patriot missile, like blowing it up, and like an eagle, like all printed big on a white T-shirt.
Yeah.
There's all those propaganda shirts, and she would get so bummed because everyone around her was wearing that stuff, and she's like, my cousins are there,
I can't even imagine that because, like,
right.
I lived in Madrid in Spain when the second war in Iraq started, and
Right.
I just felt uncomfortable being an American in Spain, and
Right.
Spain was joining with the UK in fighting with America in Iraq.
Right.
But like 90% of the population of Spain or Madrid was in the streets protesting.
Right.
So I felt
Right.
uncomfortable. I tried to just blend in and not seem like an American.
Yeah.
But that was in a country that was an ally during a time of war. I can't imagine what it would be like living in a
Yeah.
country that's fighting against your country.
Yeah, and she like for her, her and her brother, that must have been tough. And they had to deal with a lot because then like we ended up being closer friends. I was watching a movie at their house once, and like it was an action movie, and like the bad guys were terrorists, and of course they were like Iraqi,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
And so they were like, every time it was like a joke to them at that point, but
Yeah. Well,
like
because I feel like screenwriters and writers in general, you want to have a good bad guy, right? And so you can only go to the well of the Nazis so many times, and then now it's like, wow, we have an actual enemy.
yeah. And Germans, from what I understand, don't mind being the bad guy. As far as like if you had like Hans Gruber and Die Hard, I've never talked to a German who's been like, that's so offensive. They're always like, fuck yeah, Hans Gruber.
Yeah.
We're best.
Yeah.
Like that. Maybe the Nazi thing I haven't asked anyone.
Hans Gruber's the best.
He's a great villain. Yeah.
Well, it seems, from what I've seen, it seems like Germany is pretty woke, as it were, about their Nazi history. Like they like acknowledge it. They apologize for it. I mean, for lack of a stronger word.
Yeah. Like how much apologizing can you do? Like especially if you're our age. Like
they have memorials.
Yeah. Like what are you gonna do at that point? Yeah. My friend Felix is he's German. He was in America when Trump got elected.
Yeah.
And everybody was saying like Trump, Nazi. They would just say Nazi a lot about Trump, and then he would be in the room and they'd be like, "Oh, dude, I'm sorry. I didn't mean any offense." Like to him, and he'd be like, "What? Why? Like, what's? You talking about Trump? You're not talking about me. You know? It's just funny. It's like, yeah."
Yeah, it seems like Germany, like they really like, because not countries don't always acknowledge stuff. Like, I mean, Turkey doesn't acknowledge the Armenian genocide.
Right.
I didn't really learn about that much until moving to Los Angeles. I don't think I even knew. This sounds ignorant, but I didn't really know what Armenian was until I moved to LA. I mean, Kim Kardashian is Armenian, but I don't think I really knew about her either.
We have one Armenian mutual friend, and I can't remember her name.
Me and you,
but
Eileen?
Is it Eileen?
Or is Eileen Persian or? There was another thing I was thinking when you were talking about your friend from Iraq, is that I've noticed like a lot of people from Iran say that they're Persian, and I know it's more complicated than this, but I wondered if it was sort of like easier to say you're Persian than you're Iranian after George W. said Iran is an axis of evil and they're sort of considered our enemy officially.
Right. I don't know.
It's like, oh, I'm Persian. It's like, oh, that means you're from Iran. It doesn't mean you're from Persia.
It does sound cool.
It does sound cool.
It sounds cool.
The first person I met who said they were Persian was also Jewish, so I thought, oh, maybe Persian means you're Jewish from Iran, but I guess it doesn't necessarily mean that.
Doesn't, yeah.
Oh, and also, not to dwell on these little details, but the pronunciation of the name thing, like I have a friend Majid, and I know a woman named Sahad. They pronounce those names emphasize the first syllable.
Right.
But I feel like in Majid, Sahad, or Sahar, but I think, at least I've noticed a lot of, and I think I've done this too, Americans will pronounce Muslim words or Arabic words like it's Spanish.
Yeah.
Like I have a friend,
Yeah, Majid, would you have Majid?
or I have a friend Utkarsh, but everyone calls him Utkarsh.
Utkarsh, right, right. Yeah, yeah.
So speaking of,
When name and if I'm talking to someone who speaks Spanish, instead of Todd, they say top.
oh, that reminds me, I was in Spain and I was telling this girl my name's Mike, and she's like Mike, and I'm like yeah Mike. She's like Mike, and I wrote it down Mike, and she looked at it and went oh Mike.
Yeah, yeah, like that.
I'm like I've been saying Mike over and over.
I know.
What's wrong with you?
It's weird. Yeah. When I was just in Costa Rica not that long ago, and my accent is pretty bad, and I'm kind of stubborn about it. Like I don't care to make myself sound like I'm from Costa Rica
Yeah.
because I want to just say the words. And this is probably ignorant, but like because all the time I'm in America, if I talk to someone from a different country, I enjoy their accent. You know, like they're from like Felix, I enjoy his German accent, or my friends from El Salvador, Costa Rica, whatever. You know, like they have a cool accent. I like it, so I don't want to like lose my American accent. You know,
Yeah.
but they couldn't understand anything I was saying. Like the problem. So I think if you're, it makes me wonder, like if you're American, do we're supposed to just hide, like mask it so people can't understand? Like I was at a grocery store and my wife needed a hair tie, like to tie her ponytail, and I forgot the word, but I was saying the word for hair tie.
Yeah.
And three people were like, and I was like, doing what you do, speak the language, like handing it. And then some other guy who spoke both languages said the exact same word, just with a good accent. And they're like, oh, hair tie.
Yeah, yeah. Totally. That's just what happened with me and Dugan. I was like, oh yeah, this book by Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi. And he was like, no, actually, it's from Nihai Csikszentmihalyi.
Right.
And I'm like, oh, never heard of that person.
Never.
Or I think I've told you before when we were in Paris with Ed, and he goes up to the front counter at the airport and goes, where is the water closet?
Yeah. With this. Yeah.
And I was like, bathroom. Where's the bathroom?
Yeah.
Speaking in a French accent is not the same as speaking French, but maybe Ed was right. I was wrong.
Yeah. I don't know. I just know, like, anytime someone, like, the brokenest English, I feel like I'm not that bad at figuring out what they're talking about.
You're pretty smart, though. You went to multicultural. Iraqi schools.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know, but yeah.
I don't know either. Okay, so where are your parents from?
So my mom's from basically Louisiana. She's born in Georgia, but she grew up in Louisiana.
Okay.
Near Baton Rouge, but in a very small town, like half an hour from Baton Rouge, called Plaquemine. And my dad's from Kansas, like 3.5 hours from the nearest city. You know, and pretty close to the biggest ball of twine in the world.
Oh.
The town he was born in doesn't exist anymore. It's a ghost town. But he was actually born in the barn on his farm. And his family was farmers, and everybody was a farmer in his family for like generations.
Yeah.
And he was the first one to like go, not the first, but I mean, he went to college for farming, but he ended up working for a chemical company. And we would still go to harvest though. Like he still farmed.
Oh.
Like we would just go back. That would be our family vacation every year. So we go back to Kansas and do the wheat harvest. And for a while. And then eventually my dad was like, let's just rent out our farmland and let other people farm it because this is a lot.
And my fiance would die. She has a gluten allergy, severe.
So I had a wheat mold, like mildew, that grows only on wheat. I became allergic to that. Not the first or second year, but the third year I was there,
Oh,
and it made me sneeze a lot. I couldn't be around the harvesting, so it's
does
kind of lame. I like hanging out with the chickens.
any other farming memories stand out?
Um, my one of the farmers that they hired a lady to drive a combine. A combine's the big thing with the big wheel in the front that scoops up the wheat and then does all this crazy robotic stuff really fast to strip down just the grains and spits out the grains. Um, One of the combine drivers, oh, I should not remember her name, but it was way back. I was a kid, so this is like
It was
30s.
Maharaga.
It wasn't Maharaja. It was, but she was like super butch lesbian lady in the middle of rural Kansas. And at the time, I was a kid, I didn't think anything of it. But this is like 35 years ago, and I think about that sometimes. Like, what's that like for her, or what was that like? Because where did she go meet other like girls and stuff?
Yeah.
Like out there.
Well,
That,
if in your
oh,
memory it is so clear that she was butch lesbian, one would think that any other gay person might also recognize that she might be gay and might drop a line like, "Hey, there's
yeah,
this speakeasy or bar that might interest you," or
right. But it would have to be like 3.5 hours away.
"Oh my gosh."
So she would have to go like, and this is before internet, any of that.
Yeah.
So it must have been tough, but cool lady for sure. Uh, I thought she was a guy because I was a kid. I
Yeah.
didn't know what was what, and my dad had to explain. Like, no, she's just different from other girls.
Huh.
She wears jeans and drives a truck and works like does the guy jobs. And I was like, oh, okay. And that was it.
And I bet it didn't really bother most people as long as she wasn't
Yeah.
like putting it in their face
No.
that she's gay.
Well, they were. Yeah, everybody seemed super tolerant of that, but also they would say racist stuff sometimes. I remember that as a kid being out there,
Yeah.
and I remember thinking like, "That's wrong. They shouldn't say that." But they were super tolerant of like her or what do you want to call it, alternative thing.
Yeah.
But
Your
so it just
city boy with your highfalutin
yeah,
opinions, sneezing,
yeah,
hanging out with the chickens. You're
yeah.
coming.
Can't even work a truck or a
Wheat.
combine.
Oh, the wheat mold makes me sneeze.
Yeah, that's kind of how I
You shouldn't
felt.
talk that way.
Yeah, so I just kept my mouth shut. I couldn't chime in with that thing. But
I've thought about it before. It seems like when you go on the internet, there's like hella racism, hella sexism, hella
right,
homophobia, xenophobia. But it seems to me, and obviously I'm generalizing, and obviously this is not true in all cases, but a lot of times when people are interacting one on one,
yeah,
they're a lot different. Like,
every yeah.
like,
My friend John Johnston, he says the world would be better if more people just talk to each other.
hmm.
Which that's kind of what he means by that. Like just getting, yeah.
Yeah, like there
I
might be like there, there might be some farmer in Kansas in the '80s who was saying racist stuff all the time, but then comes across a black shopkeeper and they have a completely
oh
friendly,
yeah,
cordial exchange.
and then yeah,
It's like there's the
yeah,
concept of black people, and then there's like Mr. Thompson at the grocery store.
right.
Like, oh,
No,
that's just Bob.
yeah, he's different because I know him.
He's one of the good ones.
That's the thing. In my family in Louisiana, not all of them, but some of them, there's a lot of that, and they would say stuff, and you'd be like, "Dude, that's I don't want to hear that." And then, but you'd be like, "But they have like all these friends that are black. How's that work?" You know?
Which doesn't make it okay or make it right, but
Uh,
it's just a little reassuring that like people aren't as huge of bastards as they are on their keyboards.
Right. There's that. Yeah. Like in their hearts, there's not much hate, but in the way they project, maybe. I don't know.
I think there's some hope. There's some hope to be found there.
Yeah.
Okay. Does anything interesting stand out to you? Oh, how did your parents sound when they talked?
So my dad, I used to say he talked like Hank Hill from King of the Hill, and he has some similarities there, but I think I was exaggerating for years. But he called, my name's Todd, so he'd be like, Toddler, well, go get me a writing stick, which means pencil, or stuff like that. And then my mom just talks like, so she grew up pretty poor in Louisiana in a very small town, and she is now like kind of like a Southern, I don't know what you'd say, like socialite type, like she hangs out at country clubs and plays bridge and wears all high fashion stuff and pearls and
lemonade on the porch, on the balcony.
Definitely lemonade on the porch.
Fanning.
And she doesn't have a
rocking
do the
chair.
fan thing, but they have a nice overhead fan on the porch. The porch was the deal. When they live in Charleston now, that's where they retired. But so she's kind of gotten herself away from like the Louisiana coon-ass kind of life. So in Louisiana you don't say redneck, you say coon-ass. It's like different. It's not like I don't know. It's not a negative thing. It's just what you say.
Coon-ass?
So, coon-ass, yeah. Like if you're a coon-ass, you're like a redneck from Louisiana.
Like raccoon?
Like raccoon, yeah.
That's hilarious.
Yeah. There's like a beer, I think, called coon-ass beer.
Uh-huh.
Sure. But it's like a normal, it's like what people say there.
Uh-huh.
When you say it here, people think you're saying something like really bad.
Yeah.
But that's not it.
Uh-huh.
No, it's just all races.
It's like related to the animal, the raccoon.
The raccoon, yeah. Because they got a lot of raccoons.
Makes sense. Probably in their garbage, in their...
Yeah.
My in-laws in Nashville, future in-laws, had a skunk in their heating vents.
Whoa.
And I
That's
think
a problem.
there might have been like a raccoon skunk brawl that took place.
Right.
Anyway,
what?
skunk fumes just pumped through the house for weeks.
That's bad.
Yeah.
That's a big problem. I would move.
They've been there for decades.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so she's moved away from the coon asses.
Yeah, now she's like a fancy pants Southern lady. It's kind of how she presents, which is, I'm like, good for her though. I mean, it was a goal, like a legit, like a deliberate goal, and she achieved it, and it's hard to do.
Is she like Kathy Bates in Titanic, like the woman with new money that people are looking at sideways?
She wants people to look at her like she's old money. But I think anybody would, like, who cares about that stuff? That's like a goal too. So like, she's always like looking for the right way to say stuff and do stuff and all that, But
like most people.
Yeah, but in that, she's very dedicated to like service, like helping other people and charities, and that usually works really. It's not just like she just gives money to stuff. I mean, she goes hands on and like organizes events and shows up to stuff and puts a lot of work into that.
That's
so I
awesome.
think that's pretty cool.
That's got to be fulfilling.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it keeps her busy. Her and my dad are both retired, so they're busy with that.
Oh, good.
Yeah. Yeah.
How are they doing with everything that's going on?
So they're kind of awesome. I mean, they're just hanging out in Charleston, and they said they've been stocking up for weeks. Like, they saw this coming. I'd say are good to go as long as nothing requires physical activity, because my dad moves a little slow now, and my mom's got an artificial hip and arthritis in her hands.
Oh, wow.
So
sounds like my stepdad.
Okay, yeah. So if anything happened where they had to, like, abruptly load a bunch of stuff into the car and go, or something like that, I'd be very worried. But right now, I wish they would stay home. They're going out, which bothers me.
Yeah.
Not like out partying, but like my dad said he's been going to breakfast with friends, and the restaurants are closed, but you can get takeout. So they get their takeout and they sit at picnic tables outside the restaurant together.
Oh.
And I'm like, that sounds sketch. Like, especially if you're 75,
Yeah.
It's a little maverick.
Yeah, my dad was like scolding me for making jokes on Facebook about coronavirus, and
Right.
and then he was like, "But I'm gonna go down to Georgetown and get together with a bunch of people on Sunday morning," and I'm like,
Right.
"No, don't do that.
Don't do that. Yeah.
And then like 3 days later, he's sending me funny coronavirus
Yeah.
memes. He was just like a little behind the curve on
A little behind
what's
the curve.
appropriate to joke about.
I feel like I just wish I could get a haircut right now. That's the only thing. That's how. I mean, that's quality problems.
Very quality. Yeah, I could use one too. I think Samantha could do a good job. She used to cut everyone on the tennis team's hair, I guess.
Oh, that's big. Yeah, Charlotte used to cut her uncle's hair. My wife Charlotte, so she offered to cut my hair.
Is he the one that died in that barber accident?
He survived. He survived.
We'll say no more about that.
Yeah. So, it's just a lot of pressure.
This is like the longest my hair has been. I actually got new headshots, on Thursday, 2 days ago. It's the only stranger I interacted with over like the past 2 weeks, and then they shut everything down on Friday. So, but but my hair's long, my teeth are white. Yeah,
it's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just wanted to spend a lot of money. Thanks. On my image before we got locked down in quarantine and
beards
and all the auditions went away.
Yeah.
I actually have an audition for Tuesday.
Oh, cool! Does it happen?
Yeah, because most things are self-tape. They already were self-tape, and now they really are.
No, they really are.
I like my new agent. She really hustles.
The guy that played Spider-Man in the new Avenger movies, I saw somewhere on YouTube. I saw his audition, and it was like this. It was over Skype.
Yeah.
And he was in like a kind of cheap apartment somewhere.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it was like saying lines, and then he's like, "Hold on, guys, we gotta see this." And then he goes and does a backflip, and they're like, "Whoa!" You could see like the casting people like, "Oh my god, he could do a backflip too." And he got the part that way. But I remember seeing that, I'm like, wow, that's a big life change for a Skype interaction.
Yeah, and the Always Sunny in Philadelphia guys, they filmed something when they first pitched their show. It's in like a crummy apartment as well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have this fancy red curtain behind me.
Super fancy.
Yeah,
elegant.
You got that fancy three-toed sloth behind you on your wall.
He's a three-toed sloth. Oso peresoso.
I got sidetracked. So, anything else interesting stick out to you about your parents?
They're
like when
I don't know. So my dad
growing
was
up,
he's so with the whole Agent Orange Vietnam thing.
Yeah.
He was one of the guys kind of in charge of trying to keep Agent Orange legal, which is kind of interesting because, like, if you ask him, he's like, "Oh, Agent Orange, that stuff's great. It's a herbicide. It kills weeds. Great. It's good stuff. Like, does it cause cancer? No, it's all media. No, it's fine. Bunch of hippie stuff." But then later he got cancer, and like 12 years ago or something, 15 years ago. And then the doctors, when he diagnosed him, said, "Have you been exposed to like Agent Orange? Because this is exactly the cancer that causes. Like, were you in Vietnam?" And my dad was like, it doesn't cause cancer. It's crazy. It's all media, at that point. But then if you, like, I vape, and when the hype came out about vaping killing people, my dad was like texting me every day, like internet links on like how it crystallizes your lungs and kills you and it's so bad. And I would be like, Dad, what does Agent Orange cause cancer though? Like, do you see the connection here? And he's like, yeah, but you got to quit vaping. Like, he couldn't, you know what I mean?
Wow.
Couldn't connect to dots. And I don't really have an opinion on either. I just think it's funny that the two, kind of similar.
Yeah.
It's weird.
I'm just thinking about the commonalities in probably everyone in their relationship with their fathers or
right.
The ways of communicating, just being from a different generation and
yeah, way different there. But yeah, I don't know. So I did the DC thing through high school.
Like what I'm thinking of is like there's a lot of things like I wouldn't bring up with my stepdad just because it would be like a really long conversation where it's just not worth getting into it.
Yeah, like it would.
I'm not going to change his mind. He's not going to change my mind, but he's going to get upset.
Yeah, there's like things you can't say because it's like a trap. It'll trigger the spring that'll set off this emotion in them that will turn into this. Oh, here's my opinion.
Yeah. It's like that whole Thanksgiving, the racist uncle at Thanksgiving sketch or whatever.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, it's like.
I wonder about the racist Thanksgiving with the one non-racist uncle.
Right. I haven't seen that before. That would be good. Yeah, that would be good. They, yeah. I try to watch out for that myself. Like, because I have everybody's opinions. I got my opinions. And when I feel myself going on, like launching on a thing, like a soapbox.
Yeah.
I try to like really be aware of it, not to do that, because it's so annoying to be on the other end of that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't want to be that way.
No. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's tricky. It can be tempting. Like ordinarily, I won't go off on a rant about something, but in this case, I feel I must say, you need to understand, and like I used to. I think when I was younger, I would set those up. Like I would get bored in conversation. Oh yeah.
So I would kind of like if you want to talk about what you do for work, you'll be like, "So what do you do for work?" And then you wait for them to ask you, and then, "Oh, me? Wow."
Yeah, totally.
I would set those up, and then I don't know. After years of that, I just was like, "That's lame. That's not a good way to make friends."
Yeah,
so,
I want to be happy,
Yeah.
And some people might say, well, you have to stick up for what you believe in because otherwise, if everyone didn't stick up for what they believed in, then the world would all fall apart.
I think it's easy to like say what my opinion is, and then, but also try to keep an open mind.
Yeah.
There's not much I'm stuck. I'm stuck on a few things, but like I'm a gun guy. I like guns, but I have no problem seeing the other side of that.
Uh-huh.
Like, so I have a lot of friends, especially like in LA or San Francisco from work, that are very anti-gun, and we don't have to ever argue about it. Like, I want to know how they feel about it so I can have a more open mind. I don't want to like convince them to join my side. Because we need both sides, I think. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it can be really tempting. There's all these pitfalls online to get. There's like an addiction to rage and outrage on if you watch too much news or you go on Twitter or on look for news online or Facebook even. You can get totally sucked in, and it can be sort of exciting, and people get like addicted to it.
Oh yeah, like look how dumb the other side is. They did this.
Yeah, and I'd rather be happy and like it's that whole thing about like act locally, think globally, act locally. Like I'm instead of like getting in some huge debate where everyone's angry at the end and no one's mind has changed. Like I can just try to be like a nice person in my day to day life.
Oh yeah, it's huge.
I can vote and then
Yeah.
try to like not be a jerk to the people closest to me.
Yeah. One thing I know you do from hanging out with you, I think is super important is like just being engaging and nice to like cashiers, Uber drivers, because they interact with so many people. And if you can get that, like if they're having kind of a shitty day and you can do something that nudges them a little bit to a good day, even if you don't fix the whole thing, they're going to affect all these other people just a little better. And I think that's super important.
Like the ripples in the water.
Yeah.
There's one of those YouTube videos that'll make you cry where it's like one stranger helps another and then they keep passing it along.
Yeah, pay it forward kind of.
Yeah, exactly, that movie.
Yeah, they got those cashiers because man, if they can say one, it's best if you can get them to laugh, but you can't always get a stranger to laugh. You can better than I can. You're like trained in that, but like if you can get a stranger to laugh, then that's awesome. And then maybe they'll say something funny to someone else, and it's great. You know?
Not to get too cheesy, but you could argue like that's sort of what life is all about, like those little moments where you can touch favorably on other people.
Totally. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe
yeah, like social media. I think that's a good way to look at social media. Like how do I've always kind of looked at social media like it's a party. Like if you went to some barbecue that had 100 people and you knew 15 of them and they knew you, and then you knew 10 of them that didn't know you, and kind of like following and unfollowing and stuff. And you wouldn't walk around loudly exclaiming stuff to everybody, trying to get them to buy your product or look at your YouTube, or like, hey, you 10 people, look at my YouTube. It would just be so awkward and weird. But you might try to do something that 10 people see, you know? I don't know.
Like devil sticks.
Yeah, like devil sticks. Like you could juggle or, something like that.
Use that robotic machine on the wheat crop.
Yeah, you could run a combine through the barbecue.
Or go on renegade taxi police missions.
Yeah, you could do that. But you would,
Fortnite. Check out Fortnite or whatever the coolest version is of that, because that gave me that same Grand Theft Auto addiction where you get killed and you're like, oh, I need to play this again and not get killed this time.
Yeah, I kind of need that. I've got to do like...
And you can team up with people, your friends.
That's cool. I get log in. Yeah.
And then all your followers can watch you on Twitch, and you can wear costumes or do whatever you want.
Yeah. I should do that. I have like 3 or 4 more days. I've basically been working like 4 or 5 hour days this whole time since the quarantine, and really cranking it out, just like editing, uploading, posting emails, if I keep at that, I've got 3 or 4 days left until I have to get really creative to find something to do.
I'll send you those guitar lesson links.
Yeah.
And then we can play Wild Thing together.
That'd be cool. We just...
Well, my fiance has to make a work call in like a little bit, so maybe we should end there. And I'm happy we barely got past Cooper Middle School, so that means that we can do a part 2 of this.
Ooh. This time it's personal, too.
And it was really great to catch up with you for an hour.
Yeah.
During these crazy times. I was just thinking about Zach and I worked for this guy doing some ill-conceived internet/radio/TV show, and we were watching. There was this other guy named Tony Roney, who was a comedian who was doing it with us. He was actually from, I think he was from Detroit, actually, speaking of Michigan.
Yeah.
And they showed us this clip. They did like a comedy drive for Hurricane Katrina.
Right.
And at the end, Tony Roney goes, "Happy Hurricane Katrina, everyone."
Yeah.
So on that, in that vein, maybe we should say Happy Coronavirus, everyone.
Yeah, I like it. At the same time, or
Yeah,
a little bit lagging?
in harmony.
In harmony?
Yeah, ready?
Yeah.
1.
Happy
Coronavirus.
It's hard to sync up. The last thing I'll say, I was in a
Because
thing.
the internet.
The internet. If you try to pray with someone, say the same prayer at
Pray
the same
with someone, that's weird.
time. I know, it's super weird.
No, I know. Or sing
It's
happy
super-
birthday.
They're singing, yeah.
It's
It's
just have
weird.
one person sing or one person pray and everyone else mute. It's
Yeah.
fine. It's fine.
That's a shame. That's a
People
shame.
will learn.
People are going to learn etiquette soon with
Yeah.
that.
Oh, you're going to learn today.
They don't learn.
Well, I'll keep you posted on that elderly thing. It would be cool if, like, I started a revolution where everyone in the world was Zooming with an elderly person.
Yeah, a well-armed revolution.
Yeah, so I'll let you know about that.
Okay, cool. Good.
Say hi to your wife, and good luck finding entertaining video games and learning guitar.
Thank you. All right, man.
All right.